Rob, talk to me. Pick up. Come on, mate, come on!
How you doing? I'm back.
Doug Hansen.
What do you do when you're not climbing, Doug?
I deliver the mail.
First mailman on Everest?
Hope so.
I like that.
I know there's a lot of mountaineering experience in this room. You wouldn't be here without it.
But Everest is the most dangerous place on Earth.
How's the weather?
It's good.
Wish I was with you.
We'll all go climbing together next time, the three of us.
What about your wife?
Oh, she's been fine with it ever since we divorced.
Good morning, people! If it isn't the mayor of base camp, sit down, man. Climatize.
Human beings simply aren't built to function at the cruising altitude of a 747.
Our bodies will be literally dying.
So the game is, can we get you up to the top, down to the bottom, before that happens?
Steady yourself!
This is suffering, man.
A few more days. The rest of your life, you'll be a guy that got to the top of Everest.
Rob, the base. Rob, where are you?
I'm on the top of Everest, Helen.
Rob, pick up, mate. We got cloud coming up through the valley. It's a lot of it.
Oh, no. We got people stranded up there and storm is getting worse.
We got a problem. We're out of gas, Doug. Just go. No, I'm not leaving you behind. Come on.
I don't want to die, man.
Can you hear me, Rob? You've got to get moving. If anyone can make it,
You can.
I love you.
My name is Riduan Norizan from Diploma Pendidikan Islam, Semester 2. Today, I'm gonna talk about the movie review, The Everest. In this video, we will talking about the movie review that we have chose, which is Everest, the most dangerous place on Earth. We're interested to share with you about this movie because it contains a lot of inspiring moral values that we can take. In May 1996, several commercial expeditions at the base camp of Mount Everest prepared to climb the summit. Rob Hall, who popularized commercial Everest mission, lead adventure consultant. Scott Fisher is the chief guide for its rival, Mountain Madness. Rob's client, backwatters and experienced climber, Doug Hansen, a former mailman pushing his dream climbing veteran, Jessica Namba, who hopes to complete her final 7 summit as an Outside magazine journalist, John Cracker. Helen Wilton managed Rob base camp. A month earlier in New Zealand, Rob says goodbye to his pregnant wife, Jen, and he promised that he will be at home for a birth. At the base camp, Rob received fax from her wife, Jen, informing him that their unborn child is a girl. He wants to name her Sarah, but Jen disagrees.
Within several successful expeditions to climb Mount Everest, Rob Hall and his team of professional mountaineers who are members of adventure consultants must again lead a group of amateur mountaineers to conquer the mountain, which the highest peak in the world. Among the amateur climbers in Rob's group are backwater billion Doug Hansen, a postman who was actually climbed Everest many times but always has to go home without ever being able to reach the top. John Cracker, a writer, and Yasuko Namba, a Japanese female climb who intends to make Everest the seventh peak he conquers, leaving his wife Jane, who is pregnant with her first child.
Following that, Rob arrived at the top on time, accompanied by other climbers, including Yasuko, who joyfully places her Japanese flag. As Rob descends, he comes upon Doug straining to ascend just above the Hillary step and tells him to get down. Doug insists on continuing, claiming that he will not have another opportunity. Rob reluctantly agrees, and the two of them arrive at the summit 2 hours later, which long past the recommended return time. Doug is experiencing altitude sickness. Scott is with them, tired and suffering from high altitude pulmonary edema. As Rob assists Doug is descending, a blizzard strikes and the oxygen tank runs out, causing hypoxia. As Rob requests, there are no spare bottles on the road, so he radiates Helen to send more oxygen. Doug, having been abandoned by Rob for a brief moment, detaches himself from the guiding line and wanders unsteadily along the small road before silently collapsing to his death.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the next, the Scott's conditions worsens. He tells his fellow climbers to continue to descending without him. He lies down, and after that, later he dies. Descending climbers reach a back whose visions remains impaired, but they all become lost, and the blizzard obliterates the trail. So the 3 climbers go for help, and then leaving back the Yasuko and back, and then Guy Andy Harris reaches Rob with the spare oxygen, but accidentally is the cylinder of the accident aperture and frozen shut, so it get frozen. They huddle together in the storm, and then while Rob sleeps, Andy begins to have hallucinations. He then strips off his outer clothing and slides to his death. In the next morning, Rob radiates Helen that Doug and Andy are gone after the accident, and that his extremities are frozen. Helen calls Jen, hoping that Rob will respond to her voice. Jen tells Rob that he must start moving. Rob tells her that he is cold, but otherwise comfortable, and asks her to name their baby Sarah, and he dies soon afterwards.
There are 4 moral values that we can take from the movie. First, helping each other. In the movie, the main character is Rob Hall, shows that he never let his team in danger. For instance, while Beck tried to cross the hills and he slipped off from the ladder, Rob tells Beck for not moving because he's coming to help him get back on the ladder. The second one is when Doc is out of time to reach the peak of the mountain, meanwhile others are finished, and Rob asking Doc to turn back because Doc is so late and he's out of time, but Doc wants to pursue his dream to reach the top of Everest. Rob feels sympathy for Doc because this is the 3rd time Doc Hansen come to Everest and he did not want to come again next year. After that, Rob Hall helping Doc Hansen to reach the peak of the mountain. In the Quran, Allah says, "Help one another in acts of pity and righteousness, and do not assist each other in acts of sinfulness and transgression. Verily, Allah is severe in punishment." This Quranic verse explains that we, as Muslims, could always helping people according to their ability. Allah says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also promised that if we simplify people's affairs, Allah will simplify our affairs.
In the movie, the second moral value I get after watch this movie is never give up. And the main character show this moral value is Dog. Dog is a postman and he many times climbed the mountain but was unsuccessful. But with the high fighting spirit shown by Dog, he finally managed to climb Everest, even though the weather was not good at the time, and he was helped by Rob to achieve Dog's desire. The reason Dog didn't listen to Rob want to go back down is because Dog didn't want it to come back feeling empty and useless. That's why Dog tried to reach the top Everest even though he was in a bad condition and could cause it. In the Quran, Allah says, "Indeed, you have worked towards your Lord, then surely we meet him." Quran Al-Ishaq 6. The meaning of the verse is that if we want something, we have to work hard, and whatever effort made will be rewarded by God. Because whoever tries will surely succeed.
The for 20 days to achieve victory for the Muslim. That some are only 6 days old.
So the next moral values, number 4, is follow your instinct. The moral value that we have is follow your instinct. That data is a good thing, but the thing about instinct is they are come from the experience. So the more experience you have a good instinct. You know when something is right or wrong because your cumulative experience has prepared you to know. So it's how we survived this long as a species. Some of the people who survived at the Everest claim that year know instinctively when to turn back, when to call it a day. The other were blinded by a single goal, when both instinct and reason were probably telling them to turn around. So, this is linked with the Quran. As Muslims, we have instinct that we learn from the history and the past. This is what instinct, what I call before. Allah said in the Quran so many times how He show His power against the races that disobey Him. So, from Allah said in the Quran, Surah Taha, verse 128. Is it not yet clear to them how many peoples we destroyed before them, whose ruins they still pass by? Surely in this are signs for people of sound judgment. So from that, we